All right, welcome back to the podcast that I don't want to do, and quite obviously, a lot of people don't want to hear. This is Speak Up for Julian, episode 6. This one is back at DD2 again. So, before I get into my 3 minutes worth of time at the school board and exactly how terrible the people that sit behind that desk have been treating me, I want to talk about a couple more things. First off, if you haven't already seen, this is my new ink. It is for this. Right up at top is 988. By the way, if you don't already know, 988 is like 911, except it is when somebody is in danger of committing suicide. So 911 is not a wrong number. If you need an ambulance to show up, then you need an ambulance to show up. But if you are at a point where you don't quite need an ambulance to show up, but you need somebody to help you process something really big, if you've been having those kind of thoughts, if you've been depressed that you can't get out of it, and the friends and family that you normally talk to have not been able to help you with it, call 988, text 988, go to the website. You can even go to Julian's website. There are direct links for 988 on there. If you need mental health resources, that is a great place. And yes, I know with everything that's going on in the world right now, I really hope that it doesn't go away temporarily. By the way, if that kind of service gets taken away and defunded, I promise you it's coming back. Don't know when. The world's kind of crazy right now. But the other part that I want to talk about is that beautiful logo right there that I have right below my 988. I like that we're getting branding. We're starting to get a message out. I really wish that we could get this message out a little bit better. But we're going to be working at it. But here in a minute, I'm going to take you through the 3 minutes that I had again with the Dorchester 2 school board. And I'm going to let you know right off the bat that I used one of their agenda items again because I want to be able to speak when they're going to be listening to me a little bit more. It's obvious that they're not listening to me, but if I get to go towards the beginning of the meeting, I have a better chance of being heard. So I used the agenda item talking about the South Carolina School Board Association annual conference. Again, the school board's agenda was largely devoid of meaningful information, but with this one in particular, I could go to the SCSBA website, take a look at exactly what that was supposed to entail, which was interesting because you'll hear me read and I quote, because there's quite a few typos in the SCSBA's website for their annual conference. It's neither here nor there. What you won't be able to see in the video, though, and I'll have a few snippets up on the screen to kind of give you a heads up. But what you're not going to see on the video, because you're going to see me in the video, you're not going to see any of the people sitting behind the desk. But the people that are sitting behind the desk, I get that 1,000-yard stare, or I get butterflies, or I get, I can't believe this guy is here again. One of the other very interesting things, and I'll point them out during the video, I had to reiterate at a decent cadence the fact that I was still speaking about their agenda item, because I could see multiple times that the school board chair was reaching for her microphone to interrupt me. And you'll see me go right back to, so at the South Carolina School Board Association annual conference, and I really hope that got under their skin. I do, because they have no idea what it feels like to be me looking at them in the face, talking to them about mental health, talking to them about teenage suicide following unchecked bullying because, oh my God, that's a thing. And they stare right through me. Oh, and at the very end, after I'm done saying what I say, and I hold my horns high, the board meeting continues. Anyway, so let's take a look at that video. 3 minutes, bear with me. All right, so here we go. The March 10th, 2025, Dorchester 2 School Board meeting. Good evening. I would like to talk about Agenda Item 6A, the South Carolina School Board Association Annual Conference Report. I looked up the website and read some of the conference highlights, and I see that it said, and I quote, keynote and general sessions presentations by motivational speakers as well as state and national experts on a wide variety of issues related to K-12 education. So there wasn't a lot of information there, but it said they should have covered a lot of topics. I would hope that one of the variety of issues that they talked about was teenage suicide following bullying in schools that goes unaddressed. This is a critical issue in the country. There are specific incidences here in this district. So I would hope that the SCSBA annual conference report, various issues, would have had a motivational speaker to talk about something like that. I actually have a police report about a student that was accused of threatening violence against the school. It turned out to be a false accusation, and double whammy, they were actually the victim of cyberbullying. And the report states that they didn't come up with anything, but it doesn't discuss why they stopped before they were able to address the bullying. So I would hope that some presentation at the annual School Board Association convention of motivational speakers would have dealt with bullying. And I hope that in the report that we hear today, we get to hear about how this critical issue is being handled. It's sad to know that there are students in the district right now that are victims of bullying. And it turns out that the victims often suffer more consequences than the bullies. But that's anecdotal in my own experience. I would hope that a motivational speaker would be able to convey this in a broad sense rather than my specific sense. In the times that I've been up here to speak, I have respectfully used my 3 minutes every single time. The board refuses to hear me on petty things, such as when I come up here to speak. I have had my time taken away and I have not asked for it back. Again, I challenge you to review every single time I've been at this podium and say otherwise, or speak to me. That would be great. Speak up for Julian.
All right. The next item on our agenda this evening is our.
All right. The next item on our agenda. Yeah, we didn't pay attention to a single word of that. Or if we did, we let it just flow right through. I know they've got to hear me, but seriously. Anyway, moving on. And then at the next school board meeting, not a word about mental health, suicide, bullying. And then I speak again. And, oh, yes, anyway. And then at the next school board meeting, no talks about mental health or suicide. They hear me again. Oh, anyway. I'm seeing a pattern here. So we'll discuss that a little bit more and we'll close this out. All right. So that's the latest in the series of the local school district not wanting to hear anything about what's really going on. As a side note, just for everybody's reference, I did reach out to all of our South Carolina legislators and got a nothing burger back. I also reached out to the South Carolina Department of Education, and I haven't gotten a reply. So I'll continue at this. Next week, there will be a board meeting to review. So that'll be a little bit later. The board meeting after that, I won't be able to be at, but we'll see whether or not something might happen during that one. And in 2 weeks, the podcast will definitely be a little bit late because I won't be back in town yet. So anyway, thanks again for listening, especially if you went all the way through to the end, and there will be more to come. This is still just beginning. So speak up for Julian. Thank you.